and gentlemen, this is Eddie Marcus again. I was just thinking, and I thought I'd share my thoughts with you. How is it that the nation can be witnessing what they call the most corrupt president this nation has ever had as president? That is not trustworthy, that he lies, he acts, he's disrespecting of the nation and all of its laws, really. And they talk about him as being despicable. And a greater percentage of the people says the same thing. They agree. While there's a steady percentage of the people, if he killed somebody down on Madison, they would exonerate him. And the whole nation sees this. They see how contemptuous he is. And yet he has the power to control and manipulate what they do. The commentary is that he probably will win in 2020. Isn't that bizarre? Who would think that, having gone through all of this, that he would even want to be president after having really done nothing during these 4 years, assuming he gets there? What in the world would think something different would happen for the next 4 years? So what is really going on? What is really going on? Why is it that he is inviting the Democrats to try to impeach him so he can use that as a rallying cry? Now, I call him being possessed by the devil. I call him as being as evil can be. And I do that by virtually naming God as the solution to all of our problems and people like this as being the problem. And they are saying things like that out in the American public. I'm hearing them say that this man could possibly win. What does that say about America? It says that Americans are just like the Nazis were in Hitler's day. I'm sure they felt the very same way. All of the same reasons. And they went back on what they had understood as being something that was more desirable. And this is what's happening in the United States right now. People aren't even thinking. They don't even care. They just believe it got to be better. Why? Because they are so torn up inside. They are so filled with hate. They haven't known the love of God. They've been mistreated. They've been abused. They've been outcast. And their hearts are just broken and their minds are so conflagrated till they just need our love, the love of God. They need those of us who've suffered at their hands to resist all of their suffering. They need us to stand up and take over because love allows us to do that. To grasp all of that which God has given us and make sure that it is benefiting all of us, including them. The only thing we liberate them from is the power and control that they've had over other people. Nobody has the right to have that over any individual. That's God's domain. Yeah. And now people here talking about the devil sitting on the throne and projecting that he will win at the next presidential election. Wow, America, do you see what they're saying about you? Are you really like that? Or are they saying that just to plant a seed in our minds to make us start thinking and coming up with confusions and finding reasons to resist and divide ourselves further and further from one another? Is that why they're saying that to us, to cause that? Or are we really at that point where we're willing to march deeper into hell after we've called ourselves a God-fearing Christian nation? Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever you've been listening to tell you about God, put it off. Turn around. Let me tell you about the God of love. The God that made this earth for you, every last one of you, made sure that you'd have everything that you need. I mean, this back in the day, you used to live in the country, out in the prairie. You had this storage place where you kept the meat. You stored your goods that you raised from the garden, preserved them. Well, that God had created this earth and put all of the resources that we could possibly want or need in the existence of humankind. Put it either in the earth or on the earth or above the earth, whether you can see it or not. He stored it there. So at the proper time, that knowledge would come to somebody, and that knowledge, by coming through that individual, would be made available to the earth, to the world. And they would come together in where they need to and make sure that that manifestation is done and the world benefits. That's what this God is all about. And each person having a career of their own choosing. Man, can you imagine what it's like to know what it is that you want to do, and all of the obstacles are taken, are removed, and now you can be exactly what you want to be? I mean, can't you just see the thrill in that? You got something to give, and everybody wants it, and everybody's getting out of your way to let you play your part in that process. Can't live without it. And there you are, doing it. And this all wonderful, masterful God has cross-sectioned everything that any of us could possibly engage ourselves in. And as we engage ourselves in it, we produce all of the goods and services that we need for survival, like health care, from the womb to the tomb. God's magnificent. Education unlimited and unrestricted. Housing for everyone. Food and clothing none would ever be denied. And all of this, my friends, is not limited to. You have transportation. You have infrastructure. You have recreation. And what it basically does, produce the peace and the prosperity and the freedom and the joy of life through the fulfillment of every last one of your dreams. That's the God I want to tell you about. And all you got to do is know that God is a spirit. And that is where the power comes from. And it is a power of love that embeds itself within each of us. And what spirit, what level are we supposed to appreciate? That level that shows the greatest amount of love. So you say God lives in you, and God lives in you, and God lives in you. And all of you about love. But which one should we, the public, pay attention to? You pay attention to the one that has risen the highest. The one that takes you closer and closer to the love and glory and greatness of God. That's where you come to. And so I'm saying, based upon what I see around the world, based upon what I see in the United States of America, with all of the churches, with all of the religions. And I'm not going to say that you haven't been doing some good. No, I would definitely not say that. I would likewise definitely not state that you haven't done some harm. So there's good and bad everywhere, except on the right path. And that right path is God. I don't look. Let me tell you one more time. You've heard of a power that was really great, magnificent, saves everywhere, sees everything, all powerful. You heard of that. We call that God. That ain't no human being. That ain't no political party. That ain't no particular race. That ain't no particular gender. No, that's a spirit. You can't see it. You don't know what it is. You just know its power. Its power to perform what men can't perform. Its power to reveal itself through what happens in this encounter. That's how you pick up the character. And if you recognize something that's happened to you that changes your mind about everything that you've always known, because you've never seen anything like this. Never in your whole life have you ever seen anything like this. And you can go and share it with people and nobody's going to believe it. The more bizarre it is, nobody's going to believe it. The question is, do you believe it? Or was it just a figment of your imagination? Or was it real? And if it was real, then who amongst the men, who amongst humankind should you fear? All you got to do is walk according to that power that you have been introduced to stand for what that power has proven before you. Stand for what's good. Stand for what's right. Stand for what's life. Stand for what's loving. Just like it happened to you out of the blue. Now you turn around and direct specifically your energy, your power as a human being led by the Spirit to affect everybody that's going through some pain and suffering and changes. That is the work that happens when you just try God. Try God. And this, my friends, is not a challenging way. When I say direct your attention, I mean basically expose, reveal that which is corrupting and destructive. But don't just leave it there. You can't just leave it there. Because once you can recognize that, you know how it contrasts the solution. So now you reveal its replacement. You reveal God's way. I'm telling you, this is the winning way. You don't have to say you stuck with Trump. You don't have to say you stuck with the devil. You don't have to say you just got to bend all the way down to hell. No, you can rise up. Rise up by accepting the truth of life. You better wake up. Bye-bye.